be fearless here.
Hmm.
You don't have to fear anyone. Believe in your talent and have patience.
So how has life changed for you after wedding? Could you tell us something about that? You got married recently, so
Yes. And this is how I spend an off day. Have you watched a Wednesday?
of course, yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's not a sequel to that film, but taking that structure and the basic premise of the film ahead, that's why it's called a Thursday, like it happened on a Thursday.
And how is it working with Akshay Kumar on Oh My God? Firstly, Ami, welcome to Pink Villa. It's lovely having you here.
Thank you so much. Same here.
Ami, I was just going through your filmography, and this happens to be the 10th year of your career in Bollywood. So how do you look at this 10-year journey?
Yes, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen next year, April. It'll be 10 years.
Yes. So this is the 10th one. Yeah.
So how do I sum up? I feel I've just begun. That's how I like to sum up. There's been a lot of ups, lot of downs, lot of joys, lot of disappointments, lot of learnings, lot of perspectives, lot of a lot, very emotional. It's been very emotional because it takes that much time. You learn it long time ago, but it takes time to understand this place. It takes time to understand your own self, what you want to do finally, eventually, who you are, what kind of choices you want to make. It's going to be hard, but you want to stick to it. What path are you on? It's going to be difficult for people to understand, but you got to stick to it. So it tests you in a lot of ways. There were a lot of tests, but in the end, eventually, I think I like to say, अच्छे लोगों के साथ अच्छा होता है. So your patience does pay, your hard work does pay, your belief in your own talent and sticking to your ethics, it does pay eventually. It takes time. That's all right. It's your journey, and you got to be the hero of your journey.
Of course,
but it's not. It's never alone. Yeah, I was really lucky. I'm really lucky to have a great family and value system that really helped me through. You can't do this alone. You can't do this alone at all. You need that strong emotional backbone, which I'm very fortunate to have. So that's how I look back.
And what has been the biggest learning? Like you said, it taught you how to be patient. I believe that's what I inferred from the answer before. So what has been your biggest learning from these 10 years in the industry?
In fact, I've been a very patient person otherwise. But what I'm trying to say is that this place can really, and I'm sure for a lot of other industries and life, that is how it happens. It can test you in a lot of ways and surprise you in a lot of ways that you'll be like, wow, I mean, does this also happen? Is this even possible? Because people like myself, especially, everybody's different, but if I have to speak for myself, we take people on their face value. We believe what the other person says, that अगर ऐसा बोला तो सच ही बोला होगा, ऐसा ही होगा. But वो हर बार ऐसा नहीं होता है. So you take time to understand these things. So my biggest learning has been that be fearless here. You don't have to fear anyone. Believe in your talent and have patience. So I think these three, and I'll add another one, that know who's your emotional backbone, like for real, and I think it's nobody else but your own family, for me. And never undermine that, never undervalue that. That's my biggest asset. So yeah.
Correct. And you have been on a roll, jumping from one shoot to another ever since the things have opened up in this pandemic after the first wave. How is that like for you?
I've waited for this for a long time, but when I say waited, not just for volume, but to genuinely be a part, at least from my side, try to be part of good films, good scripts, good roles, characters which are different from one another. So I've waited for this, and I'm already shooting for the 6th film in this year. And it's been a lot. It's been a great year. It's been emotionally really overwhelming. It can be tiring because at the end of the day, you also want to give time to every character to prep, and you might not get that every time owing to the situation we're in, pandemic, dates, a lot of things. And so despite that, you have to create, what you want to do. And because the audience or no one else would know that this is what your schedule was, or you were running tight on it, you got to manage everything in between this. So which I think, let's see how you guys like it when it comes out. But it is challenging. It is very challenging, and you don't want to burn out. You don't want to burn out yourself and feel it's not something which you can just do overnight. कि अच्छा अब मुझे वो सब काम मिला है तो अब मैं सब कर लूंगी. I'm still the same person, right? You still need that little space and little gap. But that's the power of human mind. I think we can also condition and adapt quickly as per the situation. So which is what I've been doing this year, adapting. And it feels good. It's feeling good now since I'm on the year is coming to an end, and my last commitment of the year, although we still have a month and a half to go, but it'll come to an end. So looking back at it, I think I look back at it with a lot of sense of relief. Of course, it's all yet to come out, and I hope it pans out well, but sense of relief in the sense that whatever I've waited for, whatever I've stood and been here and watched patiently, it in some way right now, it feels worth.
Correct. And if I'm not wrong, you started your journey after the pandemic with a Thursday. And that film, you have said in multiple interviews, it's very special. You are spearheading the project entirely. Could you tell us something about the world of that film?
Actually, I started shooting right after the first wave for Bhoot Police and Dasmi.
Oh yeah, Bhoot Police, yeah.
And Dasmi, and then started a Thursday. In between Thursday, we started the second wave came in, and then I resumed a Thursday after the second wave. So, and my marriage. So yes, that's a very, very special film. And not just for me as an actor, I feel what it's trying to also say, it's something very important for us. So I hope that people resonate with the idea, with the thought, with the feeling, and with the intent with which this film has been made. It's one of the best scripts I can say that I read. And I'm quite excited. And even Ronnie Screwvala, who's produced the film, Behzad, who's directed the film, we're all quite excited to present it to all of you when it's ready.
And you play a teacher in the film. Could you tell us something about that character, the prep, and the world that revolves around you? In brief, I know it's a thriller, you can't talk much.
Yeah. See, the thing with thrillers is, the thing with drama thrillers is that's the point, right? Like you gotta hold back a lot while describing it. So just to sum it up, I play. Have you watched a Wednesday?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's not a sequel to that film, but taking that structure and the basic premise of the film ahead. That's why it's called a Thursday, like it happened on a Thursday. So taking that ahead, that's the film. And I play a kindergarten teacher, like really, really young, cute kids, but I take them as hostages. So, and they're from my own school. So why would she do something like that? Why? So that's the film. And
Okay.
how. And very, she's a very simple girl. She's a working girl, someone who you can connect with just walking down the road. But what happened in her life, or what happened that something like this she did? So that's the film. And so that's there. Dasvi is there. Lost is there. Oh My God sequel's there, this is all done. This has all been shot. Now I'm shooting my last film of the year, at least last commitment of the year. That's also with Maddock, which will get announced soon. I can't take the liberty of talking about it myself, but all of them, they're different from each other. All the characters are different from each other. Obviously, the stories are different from each other, and the feel of all these films are different from each other. Every director has their own language of interpreting and executing a film. It's all very different.
Correct. And Yami, when you play characters which are rooted in like you are playing a teacher in a Thursday, I believe you are playing a lawyer in Oh My God sequel. We have seen some picture which came out. What are the prep and what are the challenges of portraying those roles like for you?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't take your question of prep from a Thursday, so I'll just club it in this. Yeah. And as I said, when you get volume of work, which is great, but I am not the kind of actor who will just be content with that. My job is to do justice to those characters. That's my work. That's my profession. And that needs time. That needs thought. That needs homework. That needs your detailed understanding of that character. Which needs time, which we were really running short of this year. So I remember I was preparing simultaneously for Dasvi and a Thursday, because I knew that right after shooting Dasvi, which we were shooting in Agra, I will land and I will rush to the set to just see the set, because it's nice when you've been around on the set to get a nice feeler of, because that's the location. So you got to be comfortable as a character that this is your place, from smallest things to knowing this is where the switchboard is, this is how we make do anything like your home. You're comfortable, right? You don't have to think twice before functioning at your home. That comfortable, so that you need to see your set. So I said, okay, forget it. I'm just gonna go on the set directly, because the very next day we were going to start shooting a Thursday.
Oh, okay.
And so I was prepping for Dasvi and for Thursday simultaneously. I said that's not the way how I would want it, because you want to ideally focus on a film and then jump into that film.
Yeah.
But I said, now knowing the timelines, and we were of course running a risk that another wave could start breaking any time, so we don't have that luxury of time as well. So you got to adapt, so which I did. For Dasvi, I had to work on my diction on Haryanvi, and I play a cop there. And for Thursday, which was Thursday was more of course a lot of script work. That is one rule for every film. You got to be so thorough with your script that you should just know with your eyes shut, in your sleep also, that this is the film. That thorough. Only then you can pick up nuances. Only then you can pick up mistakes. Only then you can question, if there are questions. So that's a must. And and Thursday was psychologically a very heavy film for me. Like I felt physically also very heavy. When your mind is heavy, your body also starts reacting like that. So that was it. But you got to adapt. You got to condition now your mind to work like that, right? And which I did. So I finished. We couldn't finish it Thursday. In the middle of it, I had to rush back home, like so many of us, because we were just gonna get hit by the second wave, which was very cruel, which was devastating. And when life was again starting to come back to the normal, that is when, of course, I got married. And then right after that, we didn't have any much time. I had to start working on a Thursday and start completing it. And of course, the life goes on from there. And then it was Lost. And then it was Oh My God. And then it is what I'm shooting right now.
Correct. So cop, teacher, lawyer, what next you want to play in terms of...
And Lost is a journalist, by the way. Not an entertainment journalist, crime journalist.
Okay.
But if you have that kind of... You can take it as overall integrity of media in today's time. Okay. Not just in crime journalism, but you can take it as a journalist. So it's under the premise of an emotional thriller. Okay. Again, very, very interesting script. So what next? Sorry, you asked me what next. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't take the liberty of announcing it or talking about it right now, even before the producer announces it. But it's going to be with what I'm shooting right now. Again, it's a film with Maddock, and which, of course, whenever it's announced, will get announced.
Correct. No, my question was not what next. I'm saying you are playing a cop, a journalist, a lawyer, and a teacher. What is that next character that you want to take up in?
Actually, the next two are also pretty interesting. And I can't talk about it. But if you're asking me, like, what I really want to, I'd love to portray a real life character on screen. I think I don't know who. I don't know, but I'd love to.
Okay.
I really don't know. There are some names in my mind, but I want them to be on my mind right now. But I think that'll be very interesting to portray that on screen. I think it's always interesting to see what you take from that character. Of course, the physicality and all those things get worked on, but how do you interpret somebody who's been there, and how do you own it? How do you make it your own? And of course, to tell somebody's story, somebody who's influenced many lives. As I speak, I do have some images, but I'll hold on to the thought. I think I can express.
Correct. And how is it working with Akshay Kumar on Oh My God?
So I've had multiple interactions with Akshay sir on this film. We don't. His role in the film is very different. I can't talk much about the film in terms of our interaction on the film, but otherwise, if I can talk about as my experience of having these conversations with Akshay sir. He's very close to the subject. He really feels for the subject. He really believes that this film needs to be out there because it influences the present and the future on how the society or a certain aspect of society is structured and is seen here. So and how does that coexist with our value system? So taking of course, how Oh My God, the first part, which was very interesting. I thought, we all thought, and that's the reason it did so well. So that's the idea. That's the basic idea, right? That so he really believes in it, and I was really happy. It's always nice as an actor when you feel that the important people connected with the film or on the film really believe in it. They're not just making a project, but they're making a film which they're actually emotionally invested in and really feels passionate about it. So that's what I really liked. And so I think it's panned out pretty well, true to what the film is trying to say. Really good experience working with the team, with Pankaj ji and everyone.
So what is the kind of work that you want to do going forward?
Versatile. I've always wanted to. I want to work. Sounds very cliche saying this, but it is, no? I want to work on good scripts. I want to work with good directors. I want to work on good roles. I want to work with directors who believe in making cinema and contributing, to making good films, good ideas, and not just another film or not just another project. And this is what I've been waiting for, and when an actor says, I want to be versatile, I want to do this, I want to do that, there is no point what an actor says until you see that in that actor's work, and you can't do that work until you get those kind of opportunities. And it just takes one film to change things for you, or that one person's belief or faith in you to get things back where you wanted to. And for me, it happened in 2019. It started with an Uri, it ended with Abada, and things just changed with how certain directors, thankfully, Amar Kaushik, Aditya Dhar, they thought of me to cast me in roles where they would have been told that, oh, that's not the correct cast. Are you sure about it? Are you sure she can do comedy? Are you sure she can do this? Or she can play that part with that assertiveness, with that, for their respective films, especially for Bala, especially for Pari. There are a lot of people, by the way, who said that, we told Amar, we were like, Arey, how can you cast her? How can she pull off this character? It was his faith. It was so it just takes that belief, that's it, for things for you to express through your work what you want to do. And I feel I'm a person with very less words. You talk, you give interviews and all of that, but personally, when someone asks what you want to do, I feel a little stumped, because it's, those things start playing in front of my eyes. So I'm very bad at expressing, but it's all there in my mind what I want to do, and it'll come out. That's why I said it's just begun. I feel I've just begun, and just gotta keep working. That's it.
Perfect. And Yami, last question. I'm sorry, but office has asked me, people have told me to ask you. How has
No, you can take a call and not ask. That's okay.
Yeah.
Be your own boss.
So how has life changed for you after wedding? Could you tell us something about that? You got married recently, so.
Yes, and this is how I spend an off day, working. So, which I get. Very good. Feels really good, really, really good. And even though both of us have been extremely busy in our respective, with our respective works and commitments, but that little time also that you get to share, you value it. You respect that. You wait for it. You're happy about it, and that's the best feeling. That only happens, of course, if you have that understanding of companionship. Of course, there is love, there's companionship, there's understanding, and there's respect. So it feels amazing. I feel, as I said, it feels like I've just begun a journey which is which is with my family, which has always been so important for me, and now it's an even bigger family, and my work. And for your work, for someone like me to happen smoothly, or for me to be able to put my mind on my work properly, your emotional system or everything at your family needs to be all right, needs to be good. That's how I am. They mean the most to me. So, and I know the kind of family I have. I think I'm just, let's just put it, I'm just blessed. I think must have done something really good to have gotten the kind of family I've got. And of course, as I said, with Aditya and his family, which is my family also. It doesn't feel like the two families. We're just part of, one big family, and that's about it. That's you've got to value these relations. You've got to value and really enjoy, this time, and not think to. No one can set rules for anyone. There's no thing called it looks good with a hashtag couple goals or power couple and this and that. Nothing. They're just, that doesn't mean, no one can set that for you. You have to set an example for your own self. And when both of us share a very similar core value system in terms of family, in terms of work, in terms of ethics, and I really respect him for the kind of person he is, self-made, and no matter what happens, or how this place can be, but if it doesn't change you or your ethics at all, or that speaks volume about you as a person. And I really first respect that about Aditya, and I'm really fortunate to have taken finally this step, or whatever you call, together and get married.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Yami. It was lovely talking to you.
I don't know how you'll put that in a headline if you wish to. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, and wish you all the best for all the films that are in the pipeline.
I hope you like them. Thank you.